Hello, and thanks for joining us. Good evening to everybody out watching us out there. This is Majority Caucus with me, Ali Dawood. In case you haven't heard, the nation has been struck with a litany of strikes. If I'm not mistaken, the Government Hospital Pharmaceutical Association, GOPSA, if I'm right, is on strike. The Ghana Pharmaceutical Society is also on strike. Judicial services have threatened to go on strike. As for GMA, whose matter we'll be discussing this evening, have also declared strike. Everybody seems to be on strike. To me, I think that this is more or less of it's a moral contagion that is getting to the level of absurdity. And at this material moment, the indifference on the part of Ghanaians or any citizens of this country is the least we expect. But in saying that, the other side of the coin also is that, well, government is doling out huge sums of money to parliamentarians. Why shouldn't we go on strike? And so to know all the nitty-gritties regarding this issue, some civil society organization, I'm referring to the Young Democrats, have issued a press statement earlier today, yesterday, and it has been captured page 12 of the Ghanaian Times. The Ghanaian Times of today, page 12, has been captured. Young Democrats, they have expressed their reservations and displeasure at the conduct of medical professionals, raising many issues bordering on illegality and lack of nationalistic, if you like, intention guarding their actions, and they would want to be heard regarding this issue. They believe it's a matter of national security, in fact. And so we have their convener, Atukwe, in the House. He will be taking us through the statement. We will be discussing why they should go on strike or why they should not go on strike. And so you will be joining us very shortly as another spokesperson for another group called Inside Ghana also issued a statement on the same topic, doctors going on strike, describing it as illegal. As and when he joins us, we'll turn our attention to him. Thank you very much for your time here. This is not the first time you're here, of course.
Yeah.
You know the trend. But this statement is loaded, Maza.
Yeah.
It's loaded. First of all, I mean, why shouldn't they go on strike? Masa, they've listened to the radio, millions of Ghana citizens, to MPs as Gracia. They don't see why government will complain of lack of funds. It doesn't make sense to them.
Yeah, Ali, it's true. I mean, strikes, industrial actions are part of the governance process. I mean, of any country or institution. Strikes are allowed, and they are sometimes good to bring home some, aspirations that unions might have. But particularly for us, we are a bit worried about this strike because Ghana is governed by law. And to the extent that we are governed by law, we expect our leaders to abide by the laws. Clearly, it's when you read let me quickly read the Labor Act 2003 Act 651, particularly about the medical association.
Okay.
If you read the Labor Act, that is section 163, and then the National Labour Commission also have a regulation, and the regulation 40 reads that an employer carrying on or a worker engaged in an essential service shall not resort to a lockout or strike in connection with or in furtherance of an industrial dispute involving the workers in the essential service. Now, the same Labour Act, or if you like, the National Labour Commission Regulation 20, also enumerates a certain category of people who are not allowed to go on strike. Can you imagine if soldiers should go on strike?
There will be chaos in the country.
There will be chaos in the country. Can you imagine if police, should go on strike?
Armed robbers will be...
My brother, police are the people who have, if you permit me, have been underpaid for a very long time in this country, but they have never been to strike. If police service should go on strike, there is going to be chaos in Ghana. It doesn't mean that simply because police people were not going on strike, they didn't have problems. They didn't have problems. They had salary problems until the recent single spine salary structure. And therefore, to the extent that the doctors in this country are also within the category of the police, that they provide essential services, and therefore they are not allowed to go on strike, the law has made provision under which they'll be able to also sort out their issues. Okay. In this case, it's even not salary. Ghanaians must know that the doctors are not on strike because of salaries. In fact,
it has nothing to do with salary.
Never.
They say some convention
not even other allowances. It's about premiums and some arrears. Okay. Now the arrears, the National Labour Commission and the Ghana Fair Wages Salary Commission, they have had meetings. They've been negotiating on these arrears. They've been negotiating on this premium. The premium too, it appears that all doctors feel they deserve to have premiums. It is not every aspect of the medical profession that is in short supply or critical. Premiums are meant for critical areas that government feels it is a priority. And so it's not every doctor that must receive a premium. Government has recently issued a guideline as to who is qualified to enjoy a premium. And the premium should also not be calculated on the basics. I mean, if everybody is going to have premium and be calculated on their basic, then soon we will not have resources to develop roads. We will not have resources to develop the health infrastructure in the country. And so what we are saying is that right from the word go, what the doctors are doing is illegal. Okay. It's illegal. Clearly, on my way home, I heard their general secretary saying that they are not ready to sit with the Labour Commission again, because for them, there had been earlier ruling. Now, if you look at the Labour Act, again, it is the rule of law. The Labour Act says that if the National Labour Commission, that is the Labour Act, engage in a negotiation and there is a ruling, and you do not agree with the ruling or you are not comfortable, you go to the appeals court. Because the National Labour Commission is like the High Court, exactly. Okay. So if you are not happy with it, all you have to go is to appeal at the appeals court. In this case, they have not done that. The doctors are also not ready to sit even with them right now. All they are interested in, all the premiums and their back pays should be given back to them before they go. Today, their president told the Minister of Health that, look, if you want people to die, then wait to see. People are going to die. When you are receiving salaries.
That is a threat.
Exactly, that is too bad. Now, according to the law, if you go on strike under these essential service providers, okay, the law, your service should be terminated. Okay. I think it is up to time we test the law. The leaders of the Ghana Medical Association, I think it's up to time the law.
I want to know from the Act. There are some sections you quoted in your statement that forbids them from embarking on strike or engaging in lockup whilst negotiation is still ongoing.
Exactly. It is. Let me read this for you to know quickly. Now, if you read for strikes and lockout, there are strikes and lockout procedures. But even for the Ghana Medical Association, they are not allowed at all to go on strike. What you have to be doing is continue to negotiate, hoping that there will be a consensus so that what you need, you can get. In this particular case, it's not about salary. Government is paying all of them salaries. If you look at the pharmacists, their situation is even worse. For them, government want to migrate them onto the single spine salary. They said, no. They want to see everything perfect before they go. That is preposterous. Absolutely. Exactly. It is preposterous. And so to the extent that some of these leaders, okay, they are flouting the law, for me, I think the leaders, their appointments should be terminated.
But that will be harsh measure.
It won't be. That is the law. Okay. My brother, if you should offend the law now, you'll be taken to the court and you find yourself in prison.
Let's move away from, but even before that, is it the fact that these doctors are unaware of the provisions of the Labour Act and the regulations of Fair Wages Salary Commission?
If their leaders are not aware of the provisions of the law, then they are not qualified to lead them. So for me, I know they are aware. but they don't want to obey the law.
So this is deliberate acts.
It is disregard for the rule of law. Now, it appears as if government is not doing much. My brother, government has been able to migrate public sector workers onto the single spine, I think about 92% or 95% thereabout. So it's only certain people who feel they are special than any Ghanaian. Doctors feel they are special than cleaners. They are even special than teachers of this country. Doctors feel they are better than you and me. And so for them, when they speak, irrespective of the law,
they save lives.
Who save lives? It's not doctors who save lives, it's God.
Oh, God works through them.
But God save life. Pastors in this country save life.
If you are sick and you are brought to me, there's no way I can cure you.
But do you know what is happening right now?
Tell me.
Even the doctors who are on strike, you know those who are going to suffer, is the poor and the vulnerable. The same doctors have consultancy business in the private sector.
Okay.
So that those who can afford, they will go there and they will take care of them.
So they are not being principled.
So they are not being principled. And so it is only to put the poor and the vulnerable to death, irrespective of the law. And that is
but you see, what I fail to get is that by their very nature and training, they are taught to save life. That is why in cases of euthanasia, what we call mercy killing, somebody in a temporary or permanent vegetative state, the brain is dead. All you need is one injection. Doctors will refuse until you have a court order. So if they can go to that extent to protect lives, however wasteful it may appear to be, in this case, critical lives. I read another release from them giving notices that from next week, 15th of April, they are going to also abandon the emergency cases. So this is serious.
And that's where I think today MPP issued a fake release.
Okay.
A fake release purporting that the Ghana Medical Association should hold on to the call of the emergency services. I am saying this because whilst some of them are saying that, look, the doctors, what they are doing is illegal, they should go back to work, others are on air and they are saying government is negligent, government is reckless, and government must go and provide what they need to them, irrespective of what government has. Okay? So the statement that the MPP issued, for me, I think that it's not genuine. It's not genuine because Sir John, this evening, was saying that doctors cannot go back to work when all of these premiums that they are asking for are not given to them. They are not talking about salaries. They are not talking about, if you go to other jurisdictions, you don't even hear of doctors.
But should we really take Sir John seriously? I mean,
as for Sir John, you and me know that he's not a serious person. But to the extent that they have, MPP has issued a release calling on doctors to hold on to the emergency services that they want to withdraw, clearly, it appears they are not genuine. We have heard that even within the medical, within the leaders,
I was coming there.
Exactly, the leaders of the Ghana Medical Association, they are divided.
How true is this conspiracy theory that there are some political undertones or some political underpinning regarding this strike? That some secret meetings were held somewhere and some members from the MPP allegedly made some, mouth-watering promises to the leaders of GMA to go on this strike to make the government unpopular? I'll
give you 3 scenarios. 3. 1, let me start from the NUCS. This afternoon, Young Democrats preempted NUCS action.
Okay.
We heard that some members of the MPP had a meeting with some of the leaders of NUCS. Some of them did not go, but there were a few of them who went. The idea was to create some agitation within the rank and file of the students, so that they will go on demonstration tomorrow in solidarity
of their teachers,
of UTAC. So we got the information and we put the information out there. So some of the radio stations called them and they confirmed. Some of them said that yes, that meeting they thought that it was needless because
with the MPP,
not with NUCS.
Okay, with NUCS,
they are divided because the MPP is behind and pushing some of their sponsored leaders to come out, call on the students to come out and go to the Flaster House and demonstrate. Okay, to the disregard of the police. They are not going to ask permission. So then if the police come in, then there can be chaos. So that it will appear that the country is not serene. Things seem to be out of order. So we had to put the information out there until some of their leaders came out to deny, others did not deny. So clearly, we have seen what the MPP underground is doing. Again, the Ghana Medical Association, in fact, they are divided. As I speak to you, some of them are working.
Somewhere in the northern region, they are still at post.
In the northern region, they are at post.
They are working.
Now, today, you heard Gabi, what Gabi said. Gabi did indicate that if the government feels that the strikes are going to end, then the government is dreaming. And that the strike will go on unabated. Now, this is a gentleman who said right after election 2012, he was going to retire.
Yes.
But then he's at the same time, together with some leaders of MPP, are infiltrating the leadership of the... No, many people have even called the president of the GMA. That is MPP Street Boy.
The Daily Post even made a story on that.
Exactly. I mean, the kind of things that they say. Today, the General Secretary and even Street Boy, they were on air saying that if the Minister of Health wants Ghanaians to die, she should just give them some time. And that Ghanaians are going to die.
And you think he will
But I'm going to assure Ghanaians that the minister and the government is making provision for some emergency services. They are not going to die.
Okay.
They are not going to die at all. I feel that the law should be tested. The leaders of the Ghana Medical Association should be taken to court.
Will Young Democrat institute that legal action?
Well, it is. I think it's the Labour Commission who must do that. One problem about the National Labour Commission is that when, according to the law, when they arbitrate and they finalize arbitration, they are supposed to publish and gazette. Okay, they are supposed to gazette it and then publish it before it can become effective. If they arbitrate and they come with their adjudications, final conclusions, and they do not gazette their findings and publish it, they don't become binding. So many of these negotiations and arbitrations that has gone on, they have not been able to gazette them. So it is not binding. But at least the law is clear.
Lapse.
Exactly. And let me read that portion to you.
Before you read that, let me go for my quick commercial break. When we come back, Mr. Kwe will be in the house and he will take us through the laws. Stay with me. Welcome back to the show. If you just tuning in, this is Majority Caucus live on your multi-TV. If the doctors think they can, blackmail the government, I'm sure that they have another thing coming. What they do not know is that we have another civil society group called Inside Ghana, whose convener is in the studio, Mr. Spencer Kwe. I have two Kwes this evening in the studio, and he has some things to tell them, so they better watch and listen. You were running up.
Before I go to this issue of industrial strike, it's all about the law. Once we make Ghanaians know about the law, they will know how wicked and, if you like, barbaric these doctors are, and the chaos that they want to create in this country. Look at the Labour Act, 2003 Act 651, and then the National Labour Commission Regulation 31. It says that a compulsory arbitration award shall immediately on completion be published in the Gazette and other state media by the Commission, and copies shall be given to the parties to the dispute. This the Labour Commission doesn't do.
Okay.
Now, if you also read the same Labour Act, Section 168, it says that a worker who takes, this is in respect of essential service providers as well.
And they fall within that category.
They fall within. A worker who takes a part in an illegal strike may have his or her service terminated by the employer without notice for breach of his or her contract of employment, or may forfeit his or her remuneration in respect of the period during which he or she engaged in the illegal strike. So clearly, ab initio, this Ghana Medical Association strike is illegal. So for me, I think the surest way forward, the winning thing, is either to take them to court to terminate the appointment according to the law. Not all of them, but their leaders, or their salaries, deduction should be made from their salaries.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Tell me why the Labour Commission has been unable to do this gazetting and perhaps terminate some appointment of these medical providers, because this is not the first time we've had such illegal strikes. Spencer, you speak for Inside Ghana. in your estimation, what really, I mean, what could have occasioned this, knowing the law, knowing that discussion and negotiations are ongoing, and yet you insist we'll go on strike simply because, I do not know, is it the case because, oh, the lives of innocent people are in our hands, therefore we can tell hey, government, give us money, otherwise people will die?
Thank you very much, Mr. Dawood, and let me say a very good evening to you and my Adam Mr. Koye here. Yeah. And cherished viewers at home. It's sad. I mean, if anybody who understands what is happening now, especially with the medical association, if anybody who understands the problem, I mean, if you get to appreciate what is at stake now, you realize that these are doctors who are shortchanging the nation. Clearly, the leadership is not interested. Clearly, the leadership is not interested in whatever dispute they have with the government. It's not interested in resolving the issue. They are hell-bent on making sure that, listen, we get whatever we deserve at all costs on our own terms. And we feel that it's unfortunate that we've even allowed it to get to the stage where we have to now discuss, and some people are even begging them. Ali, I've heard Mr. Kwe talk about the law. You've also raised issues about the law. So if you have a constitution, we had a referendum in '91, agreed that we should be governed by the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. Why should we allow certain people or certain groups of personalities to usurp the powers of institutions of the state?
Maybe because they have a strong bargaining chip, which is the life of people.
Exactly, and that is even that even makes this action stink. There is no better word than to say their action stinks, and as such they must be dealt with accordingly. Ghana is not a jungle. Ghana is a sovereign country, and as such we are governed by rules and regulations. One interesting note is if you read the act, the 655 Labor Act, if you read section 153, it talks about the parties to an industrial dispute are under an obligation to negotiate in good faith with a view to reaching a settlement of the dispute in accordance with the dispute. Let's ask ourselves a very good question. Has the doctors demonstrated good faith in resolving this dispute? Why did they resort to a strike when negotiations are still ongoing? Why are they on air defending this reckless position, their reckless utterances, their reckless posture, be saying that, oh, others have been paid and therefore they should be paid. And a salary arrest. They started with the issue of salary arrest. We go into the merit of the issue. Even at the time they were going on strike for the month of is it April? No, we are in April, so yeah. March for them. Yeah. Their salaries had hit their accounts. What? And the issue why government, according to the Fair Wages and Salary Commission, the issue why their interim premium hasn't been paid was due to the discrepancies in the figures. Yeah, they had proposed exactly, and the conversion premiums and the market. But Ali, let's be honest with ourselves. With all these premiums flying over, why should somebody like, say, a gynecologist, and a normal GP, general practitioner, why are we allowing them to even enjoy the same market premium in the first place? Is it because they are doctors? Let's not forget, this is a special breed from their training. Yeah. You and I were in Legon. We saw how they are being bussed in the morning from the campuses to Kolebu.
Served with breakfast.
As soon as you get to level 300, you automatically qualify for a room. You and I had to sleep in rooms containing about six to eight students.
We'll discuss that
six to eight students at a time. And when it's time for you to give back to society what society gave unto you, you turn your back and say we are going on strike.
And you want to kill people.
I do not for once blame those who are reading political undercurrent. I mean, in this situation, because if you hear some of the utterances and some of the things that the leadership of the GMB, the Ghana Medical Association, have said, it's so, and it's their posture for that. It's pure effrontery to.
But Spencer, let's look at this in a more proper perspective. Government keeps complaining, "I'll pay you in tranches,"
exactly,
and yet the next thing they hear is that, hey, ex gratia has been paid, and these are realistic concerns. They see people. Master Kofi Juma, when he received his ex gratia, the next thing he could say is that, hey, teachers demand more. I even think your salaries are small.
But that is why
doctors go on strike, demand from government. If government has paid me my ex-gratia, he can give you yours.
But Ali, that is what I feel that we have a very irresponsible and reckless opposition in this country. And for once, if you're in opposition, one is tempted to believe that you are useless. And I wonder why we should even be keeping some of them in the house. Monsieur Kofi Juma has not been candid and frank with the media. We all know. Yesterday we saw the statement from the Office of Parliament. They received their arrears. It's not just about ex-gratia. It's salary arrears, which the doctors on strike they've taken for 2010, they've taken for 2011. 2012 arrears has also been paid. What is pending is just interim premium. What the MPs took, which came also in tranches, they even had to take it in 4 tranches, not 3 as proposed for the UTAC and the doctors, in 4 tranches. And this even included their salary arrears. When the doctors were migrated, can you imagine if till date government had not paid salary arrears accrued to these same doctors for the year 2010 and for the year 2011?
Absolute anarchy.
Exactly. I mean, we will need to put the issue in perspective and look at it in a broader framework as to what are the reasons or what actually is informing this strike.
Yeah.
It's so obvious that they want to hold the government to ransom. They feel that, listen, we are very important in dispensing our services. The state cannot do without us. What we say must be final. But the Constitution is saying that you go into a negotiation in good faith. You don't say that the fact that somebody has been paid. What the group that was paid? What were the items or what constituted that payment? You are not even being frank with yourself.
So you don't think they are coming to equity with clean hands?
They not that they are not. They do not want to. Not that they are not coming. They do not want to come to equity with clean hands. And what saddens my heart is the fact that we have these same people who think that the nation cannot dispense of their services. And they think that, listen, this is the time to hit the government and make sure that we get what
some say it's a case of blackmail. Do you believe it?
I feel it's a case of holding the government hostage, just as we've been seeing the pirates. You know, it's like they want to capture. It's like they've seen an oil an oil tanker on the high seas. Let's capture it and we demand a ransom. That is basically what they are doing. They are demanding a ransom, and I don't think that at this point in time, I'll be very, 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 very unhappy if government even goes ahead to pay a penny before the stipulated time, as per the ruling that the National Labour Commission give. Let's not forget, we are being told by the Labour Act that the Constitution shall constitute the award which will be binding on all parties. Why do the doctors feel that for them they will not agree to the rulings of the Labour Commission? And then they will even come out and say, as for Labour Commission, we will not agree. We heard them say, as for Labour Commission. So if everybody comes out and bastardize
the audacity.
So tomorrow, the person responsible to pay the doctors will say, I'm also going on strike. I am waiting. Now, what accountant general, they should listen. They should embark on strike and they shouldn't pay people. They should embark on strike and they shouldn't say people. So that let's see what happens to the doctors. Let's see what happens to these greedy people who think that they must hold the entire country to ransom, thinking that as for them, they can take care of their families at home.
Do you believe, this is my final question to you, and then I'll move to another quick. Do you believe that we have a case of insurgency on our hands, carefully calculated, being outdoored in a very fashionable and creative manner under the pretext of labor agitation? People are just using this. Is it true?
You see, I think that our government, or the current Excellency John Dramani Mahama's government, is a little bit too lenient. Because I mean, let's go back to 2006. What happened to when teachers resorted to strike? Yeah. We all know that. Previous years, I mean, attempts were made by certain groups of persons. I mean, or certain labor unions to resort to strike, and we know what the comments. I mean, even from what Marcel Kofi Juma said, that they are even more important. And this is somebody whom we had heard And I mean, he had been penciled down as a minister for health.
Oh, really?
Saying
By
that they are
Akufo-Addo?
even more. Yes, I mean,
okay.
I heard that in Nanado's shadow cabinet that they had built. Proud to, instead of concentrating on campaigning, they rather forming shadow cabinet. He was penciled down as a minister for health, saying that is even more important than doctors and
he wants
teachers.
to be their minister.
We heard about their attempts to make the country ungovernable. Okay. Unfortunately, we thought it was a mere political rhetoric. But clearly, we are seeing it manifesting itself in the daylight. And I think that we must face this tackle as a country, depoliticize the issue. Because at the end of the day, Ali, if it may not be you, you may be fake today, but you may definitely have a relative who have to go to the hospital or the clinic. You have friends and relations who need the services of the teachers in the classroom. If we do not face this problem head on and address it as it should be addressed, other than that, then we must as well throw the constitution away and everybody, you leave us and do whatever you want. But once we have agreed to go by the dictates of the constitution, we must face the problem head on, deal with it. If it's the act of an irresponsible position, we need to put them where they are. There is a reason why Ghanaians voted for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and not Nana Akufo-Addo. We must deal with this issue.
By the way, he's still in court.
Of course.
I've been told the certificate is missing when he was called to the bar. His bar certificate.
Yes, I heard his lawyer today on one of the radio stations saying that yes, it is missing. And I was very surprised. I was very surprised to the extent that when Sheikh Isikwe, tsunami, it became so. People had to ridicule him. And why is this? Why are these same people not ridiculing? Is there a case of carelessness or recklessness? That's why he's lost his certificate. Anyway, it's not a matter for discussion. But if indeed there is any political underhand or there is any political undercurrent in what is happening, I think it's a shame, and that they will pay for it come 2016 with even less than 30% of Ghanaian voters.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Spencer, for that delivery one more time. Another, Mr. Kwe, let's turn our attention to the Labour Commission. You have outlined some flaws in the way they conduct their activities. What could be the underlying reason why Labour Commission, also being fully aware of what is required of them per the Act, and yet not executing it to its full extent?
You see, the Labour Commission, we realize from our checks, we realize that they lack capacity.
Okay.
Many of the people there are very old. It's not an attractive place anymore. We are aware that the National Labour Commission only have one lawyer who is part-time, a woman, one lawyer who is a part-time person over there. Okay. That is not so good. Now, they also have, lack of funding. Okay, I think that this aspect of the challenge need to be brought out so that government can also support the National Labour Commission. If you look at the Fair Wages and Salary Commission, their negotiation skills is weak. They don't have professional people who can negotiate. Okay. Because, look, this issue of premium, everybody cannot have premium. Initially, teachers said they wanted premium. Then the Fair Wages said, no, you can't have premium. They went back and they said, we want retention premium. So teachers, in order for teachers to remain at their post, we need a retention premium. They gave it to them. Then doctors said, we want premium. Everybody, like my brother said, all doctors cannot have premium.
No.
Premium is for critical skills. That is short in supply. That is also a priority to government. So even all doctors are not qualified to have premiums. You cannot also calculate premiums on their basics. That is a problem. So I'm saying that government must empower the institutions to be effective. This afternoon, I heard the Ghana Medical Association saying that they are not ready to sit with National Labour Commission again. The constitutionally mandated body, they said no, they will not sit with them. And that there is a meeting tomorrow with the tripartite, and that they will not go. What they want is the president. Now, must the president always avail himself
I
to the disregard of institutions?
They are beginning to tip away the credibility of the presidency. Anybody who agitates, hey, I want the president.
If the president should meet the Ghana Medical Association leaders, this country will turn upside down. Because what it will mean is that everybody must meet the president.
Yes.
And so the president should leave the institutions to work.
Because them down. The laws are clear.
My brother, you remember during the presidential debate,
the same medical association, remember?
Yeah.
Then there was a problem that had been solved, and they said that they wrote a letter to meet the president instead of meeting the National Labour Commission. And the president said, look, let the institutions work.
They had to do with their with their premium anyway.
With their premium, exactly. So it is up to time we allow the institutions to work. These are people, the labor unions are also leaders of this country. It's not only President Mahama. You and me are also leaders in our small sphere.
Yeah.
So what we are saying is that the institutions should be allowed to work. The situation that is unfolding, I want to urge government to make the issues, especially in terms of where the doctors have been. If you see their salaries, Ghanaians will see what is happening.
The government is restrained from
exactly, because
announcing the salaries on air. Otherwise, we will just say it.
Where they have come from to where they are, more than triple. More than triple. And yet, these doctors don't respect
because
families.
of premium.
They don't respect you and me because of premium, not salaries.
Which will be paid, by the way.
Which will be paid. For me, if doctors of this country or the leaders of the Ghana Medical Association want to do partisan politics and create credibility problems for themselves, then it's up to them. Because eventually, they are gallivanting towards the opposition. And because the position they have taken, Ghanaians do not agree with them. Civil societies do not agree with them. Everybody seems to be calling on them, even the ungrateful MPP, the irresponsible MPP, quietly, because they know the wave is moving towards calling on doctors to do the right thing, have issued statement, calling
hypocritical
them
stance.
Hypocritical, and it's not genuine.
Very.
So for doctors, the leaders, I think that the leaders of this Ghana Medical Association are beginning to fall towards this MPP who have cynical motive to make this country ungovernable, as was clearly spelled out by their general secretary.
Okay.
So for me, I think they should do their mind. They should follow the law. They should go and sit with the National Labour Commission and Fair Wages so that they resolve this issue through dialogue and not through strikes. They said they are ready to see people die. So for us, we know that they are not human. Many of these leaders, they are not human. Remember the last time? Remember the statement made by Sribo against people who are dying? They said if people are dying, it doesn't concern us. It concerns the government.
Yes.
So let the people die. It's just like to say let the blood flow. I think that this is quite irresponsible. And Ghanaians should hold the leaders of this Ghana Medical Association to task. They have been very, very ungrateful. Again, when we were in school, like my brother articulated, they had everything special.
Nice bars.
Even when they were in school, they were being paid. Breakfast. They were having 2 eggs.
One in the room.
Lunch.
2 eggs.
And they sleep one in the room.
And they sleep one in the
all
room.
the inner rooms are
All
for
the
them.
inner rooms are for medical students.
Can you believe it?
Yes.
And today, government has invested so much in them. Instead of them paying their dues back, to the people of Ghana.
They want to perpetuate an act of, what do you call it, genocide.
Exactly. And the
Through the
problem they are
medical
taking
acts.
is to go back on them.
If again, even after their housemanship and a few practice, those who want to further their studies, clearly last year, when this issue of the Cuban doctors came, look at the amount of money government is paying to get a single doctor become a gyno. Look at how much government is investing in them.
I want you to add, to tie in the two. Do you think public sympathy is against them?
Oh, clearly, it's out there. The public sympathy is clearly against them. If you even hear statements of some of the doctors personally, I always encourage journalists to try and get doctors one-on-one. Some of them are against this because if we have been told, we have been told that some doctors are attending to patients.
Yeah.
If indeed this is the true stance of the GMA, why would other doctors go behind?
I have a theory behind that. Well, another comment that I had, conspiracy theory, is that, perhaps as petty as it sounds, you won't believe it. The president is a northerner, and therefore, if the northern sector of Ghana decides not to go on strike, it is perfectly understandable. It is normal. There's political collusion.
If that is the case, I don't think the doctors at risk should be working, because if it's about the northern ethnicity court or card that is being paid, I don't think the doctors at risk should be working. I'm stating this on record that some doctors at risk are working. They are attending to patients. Some doctors have said. Some doctors have said that, listen, they are not party to what is happening. Even in the north, like my brother
Most of them are not northness. The doctors there. They were posted from the south to the north.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Obviously.
They are not northness. So
This-
what They are doing politics to derail. You know, the MPP.
You make
the
that point.
MPP want to make this country a bit chaotic.
It's not the entire NPP. Is it the truth of the matter is that a few group of persons within
So to be
the
fair
NPP,
to the MPP, it's not the whole
exactly.
fraternity.
I mean, of course, and the NPP, the great NPP family, they've got really, really good and nice gentlemen in the party. People with good ideas for this country. But a few group of persons within the party who now seem to centralize power around them.
Are you referring to that Chin Mafia?
I won't mention any groups, but I know certain group of personalities within the NPP who seem to have power centralized in their hands. I mean, are the ones pushing this chaotic and this reckless and disorderly.
Let me announce the phone line to my viewers. I'm sure they are eager to join in the discussion. You could reach in here 0302-211-70124, 0302-211-70124.
Can I say something?
Quickly.
Especially, look, the issues we are articulating, they are very real. The NPP is capable. Look, we all know that Nook's election is now divided between NDC and NPP. We all do know. Many of these institutions, their leaders, many of them are doing politics in disguise. I want to urge national security that if they sit down and they don't put their gear, okay, on the road, this country, the NPP, will succeed in turning this peaceful country to a chaotic country. What is happening is not just mere strike. I have never heard before, since I grew up, the judicial service, they have also given notice to go on strike, not on salary, subvention. All ministries receive subventions, all the ministries. It happened that some ministries have not received it, and Parliament is approving them in phases. And so the judicial service has not received its subvention for the past 4 months. In view of that, irrespective of the fact that they get all their allowances, they get all their salaries, only for subvention, they said they are laying down.
So now the country is degenerating.
Exactly.
My head aches.
I don't
strike.
think that this is just mere strike. So the government, the national security, they should rise up and investigate these things quietly, because we have received some reports. I told you today we received some reports and we have to put it out there that even within the Nooks, they want to create some, a very bizarre situation and mobilize the youth onto the street.
But is it not amazing that for the very first time, we have the leadership of Nooks who are going to strike in support of
instead of doing the reverse.
And you and I
Nooks does the reverse.
Exactly. Nooks does the reverse. But for the very first time, we have the leadership of Nooks who have issued a statement saying that they are going to they are going on a demonstration in support of striking lectures. I mean, clearly,
interesting.
In these times, I wouldn't love during our time. We all love being in student politics, but I don't think this is a time one.
It's back in the mockery of student activism.
It smells.
But
It's as if
what would happen? Quickly from Spencer, I'll come back to you end the show with me. Spencer, so what should we expect in the face of government not ready to back down on its demand and GMA also insistent on their stance?
I think tomorrow we are going to call on the on Labour Commission, because it is mandated when they pass a ruling and one party is not upholding the ruling, they have to go to court to enforce that. We are going to call on them to strictly enforce and make sure that their ruling as they give out is being upheld by the GMA. In the event of them not doing that, we can assure Ghanaians that inside Ghana is going to take this matter out. And we are not. It's not going to be an issue where people will think that it's politics. No, this is not politics. It's about the life of you and it's about the life of the ordinary Ghanaian. It's about those who cannot. It's about pregnant women. It's about the aged. It's about the little kids. It's about those who cannot afford any other means of healthcare services other than the stage ones. We are going to defend them. We are going to make sure that they get what they have to get, because it is the farmers' tax. It is the taxes on the cocoa that is used to train the doctor.
Yeah.
It is the it is the AMA taxes of the taxi driver and the trotro drivers that is used to train the doctor. So why should we sit down and say that, listen, you've used your money to train me, but I will not look after, I will not cater to you. You should die. Go and die. Look at statistics. If we want them to die, we will see. Who and who will see? We would rather see you in court. And if the court tells them if the court asks them to go back to court, then they should come out and say we will not go back.
Okay, thank you, Spencer. Yeah, quickly.
For me, I think that we should test the law.
Okay.
Clearly, what the medical association is doing is against the law. So the leaders of the association should be taken to court, and if possible, their salaries should not be paid. That is what the law says. I want to ask a question. Is it true that one Dr. Opoku Udusei,
He's the president of GMA.
he's the president?
Yes.
Is it true that he had a meeting with Sir John
When was that?
and some leaders of the MPP
But
this afternoon?
we have already been told. I mean, at Kennedy's book, he's a member of the position.
Okay,
MPP.
yeah. Let's.
Is it true that this afternoon he had a meeting with some leaders of the MPP? Is it true that Dr. Opoku Edusei, I understand he's the president?
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
one
know.
of them who's a polling station agent for the MPP.
Oh yes, what's this guy's? Oh, is he? No, it's not Shibo. It's one of the, and Dr. Duse is the one actually. We are told that he wrote what the constitution. I mean, he helped in writing
Drafting the
NPP. It's not the constitution.
My time is
their
up.
policy on health.
Oh, okay.
The policy on health.
Yeah, I remember.
But I
for
think
the manifesto.
government
Yes.
should be more
In 30
resolute.
seconds.
Government should be more resolute. They should continue to make provision for the ordinary Ghanaian. They should, if possible, call back all retired doctors so that they can come and provide some essential services to the ordinary people, you and me, because doctors have used the opportunity that Ghanaians gave to them against the state. Today, they are against the state. So government should make adequate provision to take care of the poor and the vulnerable. And I'm sure government...
Thank you.
If I could just add this, in going forward,
Spencer, there's no time. Thank you very much, gentlemen, the two quiz for joining in the studio. I have Mr. Spencer Quay for Inside Ghana, also a member of government communication team, and then also Mr. Atukwe Quay, who is the Deputy Greater Accra Regional Secretary and also the convener of Young Democrats. Indeed, we are living in critical times, and then the president must step up his game. Do make a date with me on Thursday. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.